In this lesson, we shall discuss the electoral process and functions of government in United States of America and India. In this lesson, we shall discuss the electoral process and functions of government in United States of America, USA. There are three types of elections in the USA. These are presidential elections, which are held every 4 years, elections for senators and members of the House of Representatives, which are held every 6 years, elections for state governors and legislatures, which are held every 4 years. The elections are conducted at two levels, the lower level and the central level. At the central level, there is Federal Election Commission, whose functions include to assist state and local election officials in the administration of federal elections, introducing voting election standards, and gives voluntary voting guidelines. There are two levels of government in the USA, namely state government and federal government. In this lesson, we are going to discuss the federal government. The federal government in the USA is made up of three arms. These are legislature, executive, and judiciary. It consists of two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The legislature is also referred to as the Congress. Functions of the legislature are control of taxation and government spending, checks on the executive arm of the government, makes and amends the laws, controlling government revenue and expenditure, in charge of foreign relations, for example, making treaties, vets appointments of senior civil servants, and representing their constituency and states. The executive consists of the president, the vice president, the cabinet, and the civil service. Functions of the president are: the president is the head of state, the president appoints the cabinet and senior government officials, chairs cabinet meetings, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, assents to bills before they become law, appoints Supreme Court judges, can grant clemency to those convicted of breaking federal laws, and signs international treaties with other countries. The functions of the civil service are: implements government policies, explains and interprets government policies, maintains government records, helps in the collection of government revenue, and draws up development plans and government budget. Judiciary is the country's legal system. The judicial system is divided into two distinct courts, state courts and federal courts. The functions of the judiciary are interpreting the Constitution, arbitrating in cases between USA and other foreign states, settling disputes between the federal and state governments, adjudicating disputes between the President and the Congress, and settling interstate disputes. In this lesson, we shall discuss the electoral process and functions of government in India. In this lesson, we will discuss electoral process and functions in India. India got her independence on 14th August 1947 with Jawaharlal Nehru as the first Prime Minister. India exercised a democratic system of government. Let us now look at the electoral process in India. There are three types of elections in India, namely presidential, parliamentary, and regional governments. Presidential and parliamentary elections are held after every 5 years. There is an independent body that organizes elections called the Independent Election Commission. Parliament consists of two houses, namely the upper house, Rajya Sabha, and the lower house, Lok Sabha. The Independent Election Commission organizes and supervises parliamentary and state legislature elections. It performs the following functions: prepares, maintains, and updates the electoral roll, which shows who is entitled to vote, registers political parties, supervises the nomination of candidates. It facilitates the coverage of the elections process by the media, monitors the election campaign including candidates' funding, organizes the polling booths where voting takes place, and supervises the counting of votes and the declaration of results. In India, any citizen aged 18 and above is allowed to vote. An electoral roll with the names of all the registered voters is used during voting. The electoral roll has been computerized. The process of nominations in India is carried out in the following ways. Any Indian citizen who is registered as a voter and is over 25 years of age can contest for election to the state legislative assemblies. The candidates for the Lok Sabha deposit 10,000 rupees, while those for the Rajya Sabha deposit 5,000 rupees. Nomination must be supported by one registered elector for the constituency. Returning officers are appointed by the Election Commission to oversee the elections in each constituency. Parliament in India is the most supreme organ of the government due to the functions that it. In India, any citizen aged 18 and above. The following methods of campaign are used in India: use of print media, use of electronic media, public speeches, and canvassing. The main political parties in India are the Congress Party or Indian National Congress, the Bharatiya Janata Party, and the Communist Party of India. Regional parties, for example, India Anna DMK, the National Conference, and the Telen Desam. Parliament in India is the most supreme organ of the government due to the functions that it undertakes. These include initiates amendments to the Constitution, advises, commands, and even disciplines stray leaders, scrutinizes bills before they become laws, approves the national budget, debates on national and international matters, has powers to impeach the president, oversees the administration of the country, controls national security and can declare war or make peace with other countries, maintains and supervises the judiciary both in the states and in the federal union, and maintains national highways and waterways after they are identified by the state. Parliament in India is the cabinet is the central decision-making body of the government. Some of the functions of the cabinet are: collectively formulates policy matters of the government, collectively responsible for all decisions of parliament, advises the prime minister and the president, defends government policies in both houses of parliament, generates bills that are passed on either to the state parliament or the house of the people, coordinates the activities of various government departments, and oversees the execution of government policies. Parliament in India is the most supreme organ of the government due to the functions that it undertakes. These include initiates amendments to the Constitution, advises, commands, and even disciplines stray leaders, scrutinizes bills before they become laws, approves the national budget, debates on national and international matters, has powers to impeach the president, oversees the administration of the country, controls national security and can declare war or make peace with other countries, maintains and supervises the judiciary both in the states and in the federal union, and maintains national highways and waterways after they are identified by the state. Functions of the judiciary. The highest court in India is the Supreme Court, made up of the Chief Justice and 17 judges. Some of the functions of the judiciary include solving disputes between the union, government, and one or more states. It interprets the constitution, swears in the incoming president and other similar government officials, interprets the laws and enforces discipline among the citizens, and fines offenders, raising revenue for the Indian government.